So next up to the stage, I'm going to welcome Charles Anderson. He is the CEO of Nest Own Your Own Assets. And really, in this new world, owning your own assets is the name of the game. If you have digital assets, they're now bearer assets, and you can hold them in your own wallet. So go ahead, Charles.
Thank you very much. All right, I've never tested this before, so let me make sure the slides. There we go. You don't own an asset until it's encrypted to you. So at Nest, we build for your confidential, real-world control, and we give you autonomous rights to your data, right? And with decentralized ownership control, for us, what's truly exciting is how you each may choose to use that for and between yourselves, right? So in the next few minutes, we'll put a spotlight on some of the usually silent but fundamental issues around assets and ownership and storage. And we'll outline the answers to this, which kind of impacts everything that is on-chain. When you look behind most NFTs, the entry may be on-chain, but the master asset is typically sitting with the issuer on their server, held by a marketplace, or just publicly available, right? And typically, the only protection for access are your pseudo-anonymous keys, your wallet. And MetaMask, as a quick side note, is going to be capturing your IP addresses for analytics, so even pseudo is turning into a bit of a misnomer. Pseudo-anonymity is insufficient. If there is no real-world you in the equation, if there's no actual control of the asset, then it's just the term access, which is being mislabeled as ownership. If you woke up to find out you didn't have your bank account anymore, it had gone, disappeared, totally vanished, you guys would be pretty pissed off, yeah? I know it's an insane idea. You've got your identity registered with a regulated business. It's your signature on paperwork. You've got statements and receipts showing history and transactions, and there are lawyers and systems to help you sort out any mess. But right now, if I got your keys to your hot or cold wallet, basically it's all mine, right? It can all be gone. So if our future economies and structures are to be built on NFTs, stablecoin, crypto, and decentral control, how do we somehow assume that digital assets don't require equally strong real-world supports? The problem, quite simply, is that we're playing with decentralized tools, yet we have not truly decentralized ownership control of identity and data. There we go. So Web3 or Web5, whatever you want to call it, is largely differentiated by user to own and control, right? It should be that in Web3, users can decide on everything, from data to connections, from exchange types to service selection. That's awesome, fantastic. But until a user's data and digital assets are owned and controlled by them, they don't really have a choice, right? So if users do not own and control their data and assets, it's open for someone else to use or to be kept by a third party. So generally, we're living somewhere in between that second arrow, right? So right now, instead of owning your assets, you just have access. Right? So your access to Ethereum, Solana, Clayton, or various systems can be distributed, right? You can tap into it, you can view it from anywhere you like, and you can hide this ability, like in a cold wallet. But just as we're here in Miami, together in this room, talking about blockchain and decentralized tech, we necessarily have a physical presence. We have a real-world grounding, right? And it's the same when you're accessing these tools. It cannot be avoided. So in the most fundamental and practical sense, without this grounded individual attribution, data and assets have not been decentralized, right? This is why we've just seen something like FTX, and billions vanished, and it's harder to justify mirroring of centralized controls for borderless asset types, right? So true decentralization is a fragmentation of ownership control, and it is giving not just access, but real-world rights. So how do we do that? The confidential self-sovereign ID, provenance and control is hard-coded. So this is stage one of actual ownership. And at Nest, we believe in giving you every tool to allow you to define and execute personal choice. And how we do this is through your individual encryption. From your device to any blockchain, network, asset, or exchange, the interface is simple, doesn't require specialist knowledge, and it's open to everyone. The result of this solution is real-world ownership control of digital assets, but also legal monetization of confidentially secured exchange, right? So it starts with your individual encryption. And only with private control of your identity can, say, NFTs be considered genuine assets, because you cannot own an asset like tickets or contracts and so on until they are encrypted and belong to you. You cannot own an asset until you have control of it, right? So the type of control required for decentralization is individual. So DLT, or blockchain, is a mutable ledger, right? It's mathematical proof that something happened. So our layer 0 is a DAG EVM hybrid, and it permits device-side contributions and user-led distributed content delivery networks. Right? So meaning individual users directly verify individually encrypted entries and data, and then recall and decryption abilities are also individually held. This is a user-led foundation. And from this, it is your choice selection of secondary networks and L1s for minting, exchange, contracts, transactions, and so on. But hard-coded ZKP and encryption must begin with the device and define all on-chain data, right? So this is also the answer to GDPR compliance. The individual is the only actual decentralized element, right? Their control must also be network agnostic. So this is fractionalization, from identity to even custody, and subsequently it's fractionalization of risk, right? That may be tied with any transaction, because events too have also become individual. To own an asset is not the ability just to view it or to trigger a preset event, right? To own something means that you alone have the proof and rights to that clearly identified or set property. There must be this positioning of decentralized tech. We must be fighting for removal of any and all intermediaries, because with individually secured implementation of blockchain and DLT, it becomes your rights, your assets, and your choice that are immutably secured. So, if we cannot decentralize real-world ownership control, we can't justify the phrase, he or she owns it, basically. And if we can't justify that phrase, then the power and potential of blockchain and distributed tech will be limited to the promotion or support of centralized systems and traditional solutions. So NFTs and digital assets have the power to revolutionize and democratize entire industries. And today we have the capacity for micro-capitalism, wherein each user is tangibly autonomous. But these technologies and digital assets can mean little until you are confidentially certified and can act directly as the real world owner. And that's about it. I went through quickly. Cheers.
Awesome. Charles, tell us where can they find you if they want to learn more about your project?
Nest.tech, nes.tech.
Yeah, nest.tech. And you know, it's this not your keys, not your coins whole thing that we're talking about, but not your keys, not your NFTs, right? Very, very important. Thank you, Charles. Give it up for Charles, you guys.